So you can set the blocks at the front short side of your yoga mat. You're going to want to sit your hips up onto the edge of a bolster or an extra yoga blanket so that you have a little bit of height with the pelvis, making the pelvis have a little more mobility to it. And then sort of that slope from your pelvis down to your knees. And then let's just sit together for a minute or two in silence. You can find a comfortable place for your hands, maybe mid thighs or in your lap. And you can allow your eyes to close. Winter is known to be the most still of the seasons. And you can allow yourself to settle in to a sense of stillness here at the beginning of the practice. Beginning to center the awareness of your mind on just really feeling in to the physical shape of your body. And as you start this next exhalation, having an intention to just breathe out nice and full exhalation, full emptying out, and then allow that next inhalation to draw into the body, feeling a sense of expansion across the heart space and the front lungs. Let's take another minute here with this more expansive breath. Okay, after this next inhalation and exhalation, you can allow your eyes to softly reopen. You're going to allow the left hand to come down near the left hip. And as you breathe in, you're going to sweep just the right arm out to the side, reach it up, and stretch it all the way over, all in that one breath in. Then, as you exhale, let your body come back to center and allow your right arm to come down. We're going to do that same movement going the same direction a few times. So, breathe in, sweep the right arm up, and move over into a side bend. And then, as you're exhaling, return the torso to the center, shoulders over hips, right arm coming down. Inhale, right arm sweeps up and tip the body over, opening through ribs on the right side. Exhale, returning to the center. Good. Two more times on this side. Deep breath in, sweep the right arm up and over. Exhale to come to the center. And last one, breathing in, right arm reaching up, stretching over. Exhale, returning to the center. So second side, right hand's going to come down by your hip. On your next breath in, sweep your left arm up, sweep it over. Let your right elbow bend a little as you lean off to the side, and then exhale, return to the center. Big breath in, sweep your left arm up and over. And then as you're exhaling, come back to the center, shoulders over hips. Breathe in, sweep up and over. And then exhale back to the center. Last two times on this side. Breathe in, sweep the left arm up and over. Exhale, a return to the center. And then last one, inhale, sweep the left arm up and over. And then exhale, return the body to the center. So we're going to keep the right knee bent in toward the body, but you can lean a little weight into your hands and you can stretch your left leg out open. Now, you can stay up on your folded blanket or your bolster. If you find that's a little high, you can always also come off. So press out through your left heel. We're going to breathe in and stretch the arms up and along the sides of the face. Noticing as you reach your fingertips up, that curve in the lower back. So the curve goes into the body. So see if you can notice that. We're going to twist to the right. So as you exhale, bring your right hand back behind you and bring your left arm across the body so that it connects to the knee or the thigh or even the shin bone, just somewhere on that right leg. Now, mild twist here. So just a little turning of the belly, little turning of the chest as you keep pressing out through your left heel. Now with the chin, we're going to keep the chin about parallel to the floor, holding the spine in the twist, but we're going to add some neck rotation in. So you can take your chin and turn it toward the right, and then let your chin just come back through the center, and then just do some counter rotation to the left. And then do that a few times. Maintaining the spinal twist and maintaining the feeling of the crown of the head reaching up toward the sky while taking those neck rotations. All right, last one. Okay, and then coming to the center with the head, coming to the center with the torso, and you can lean a little weight into the hands so that you can switch out the legs. You're going to take your left knee and allow it to bend. Send your right leg out. Press through your right heel and then inhale, lift up through your spine, reach up through your fingertips. And before we twist, see if you can notice the curve in the low back. So sometimes if we're rounded, the curve will push toward whatever's behind you. So see if you can feel the curve go into the body. Exhale as the left hand comes down and the right arm comes across the body to the shin calf area, maybe to the knee. And then just a mild twist, and then we'll do some rotation in the neck and head again. So turn the head toward the left and then pass through center, going to the right. Just another few times. Okay, and then as the head is to the center, we'll allow the spine to come back to the center as well. We're going to lean into the hands. You're going to cross the legs just one more time. So feel free to stay with your pelvis on the floor, on that extra blanket or the bolster. We're going to do a version of a bellows breath here, which emphasizes the opening across the chest, a good winter breathing practice. So you're going to hook your index finger and your thumb together. You're going to extend out through your other three fingers. The backs of your hands are going to come down onto your thighs, and your elbows are going to be bent a little bit out to the side. You're kind of pressing down a little bit with the backs of your hands into your thighs. As you inhale, you're going to let your chest pull through like a cow tilt. We'll just do the movement at first, and then we'll add a little bit more power to the breath in a second. The exhale is a little bit more passive, and you end up rounding the spine, cat spine. It's going to look and sound like this. So doing that a few more times. Let's do two more. And inhale, shoulders over hips. Reach up through the crown of the head. So you might notice a little more like energy or sort of this feeling of lightness. And we're going to allow the eyes to be open and soft, releasing the gesture from the hands and coming to the all fours tabletop pose. All right. And as you arrive here in the tabletop position, just take a second, kind of sway out your hips or do any kind of cat cows or hip circles. Make any kinds of adjustments that you need. It is nice to maybe keep the blanket underneath of the knees to have a little bit of extra padding. Few strong exhales just to keep the energy somewhat light. Okay, I'm gonna come here into the center, spread through the fingers, breathe in, let your belly release down toward the mat, lift up through your heart, and then as you're exhaling, we're gonna press back into downward facing dog. Elevating the knees up, sending the sitting bones nice and high, and then you can give some pedaling through your knees and through your feet. Okay, last inhalation and exhalation. And breathe in, take your gaze upward to that space between your hands and begin to step your feet forward, stepping all the way over your blanket so feet are landing on the yoga mat. Inhale, halfway lift, so hands on yoga blocks or the shins or even down on the floor. And then as you're exhaling, you're going to fold your body in toward your legs, releasing and relaxing the weight of your head. Let's do that half lift two more times. So inhale, lift the belly, reaching out nice and long through the crown of the head. And then as you're exhaling, just bowing inward and toward the legs. And then one last time. Inhale, lift the belly, reach out through the crown of the head. And then as you're exhaling, folding inward to your legs. A nice generous bend in the knees as you inhale. Start to reach out through the spine and the arms. Sweep the arms out, sweep them up by your ears. Let your prayer hands come together and draw your prayer hands down into your heart space. Take just a full breath in and a full breath out here. And then allow your arms to come down by your sides. So your palms are going to stay facing forward. I'm just going to turn out to face you momentarily. Palms are forward, thumbs are pointing out. Now, as you inhale, it's going to be just a slight back bend here. So your arms are going to move back to give you that open feeling, just like when we did that bellows breath. And then as you exhale, we're going to let the legs find chair. Arms will swing forward, but they can come so that they're moving that to about parallel to the floor. And then inhale, swing the arms down. Let the palms face forward as you lift up through your heart. As you exhale, let your knees bend, just settling the sitting bones down. And then again, inhale, Press into the feet, take your arms back, lift up through your chest, and then exhale as you find chair. Hold in that chair pose momentarily. Take a breath in, feel the strength of your legs, and then as you exhale, bring your hands down and send your sitting bones upward to the sky. Inhale, lift your belly halfway lift. So reach out through the crown of your head. And then as you're exhaling, we're going to step the feet back into downward facing dog. So bending the knees enough, planting the hands, and step back. Walk out through the knees and walk out through your feet. Okay, we're going to shift the hips forward, coming out into the plank position. Going to inhale, roll the hips forward. Now we are going to lower all the way down to the floor. So you can keep the knees up and lower from there, or you can take your knees down into modified plank. And then as you exhale, you're going to let your elbows bend and then bring the ribs and the chest down to the floor. We're going to move the blocks a little bit so that they're not in your way. We're going to take a variation of Cobra that's going to emphasize a little extra chest opening. So you're going to take your hands wide. So they're going to probably end up off your mat. I like to tent the fingers so you come up to where your fingerprints are versus fingertips, right? So fingerprints press down, press into the fingerprints and the tops of the feet, and then inhale, start to lift up through the chest. So the chest is nice and wide open. And then as you exhale, you're going to bring your chest and your ribs back down to the floor. Elbows are pointing more up to the sky. Press down. Inhale, roll the chest back up. So tailbone is rooting downward toward that space between your heels. And then you're going to exhale and let your body come back down to the floor. And let's do that flow just one more time. So press into the fingerprints, press into the tops of the feet, and have sort of this curling up motion. And then as you're exhaling, you're going to let your ribs and your torso, everything is going to come back down. As your chest lands, you can slide your hands under your lower chest, upper ribs, press up through table, press into the balls of the feet, float the knees, downward facing dog. It's just an active pose. And feel free to walk out the legs as much as you need. But we might invite that sense of stillness into the pose by finding our body in the shape, letting the body find stillness, and then centering the mind on the movement of the breath. One more inhalation and exhalation here. As you breathe in, take your gaze up to that space between the thumbs and then begin to step the feet forward, landing on the mat versus the blanket. And then inhale, lift the spine halfway, lengthen out through the crown of the head, and then exhale, fold in toward your legs. Breathing in, let your knees bend, sweep the arms out. Reach your arms all the way by your ears, prayer hands coming together down into your heart. And then it's the same thing, just let your arms come down by your side, turn your palms forward. We're just going to go through that flow one more time. So as you inhale, take your palms, move them back, lift up through your heart. Exhale, find chair with your arms forward, running about parallel to the floor. Inhale, draw the arms back, lift up through the chest, creating that opening across your front lungs. Exhale, bend your knees, chair pose. Inhale, standing back bend. Exhale, bend your knees and find that chair position. Then just hold for a moment. So as you hold the shape, just tapping into your sense of strength in your physical body, the element of fire, the element that's associated with transformation. One more deep breath in. And then as you exhale, hands coming down into the forward fold. Release and relax your head. Breathe in, half lift. Lift the belly away from the thighs. Exhale, step the feet. Downward facing dog. Plant the hands wide. Now, as we breathe in, we're going to do that breathing Cobra sequence one last time. So inhale, hips roll forward, plank pose. Now keep the knees elevated or down. If you are lowering down with knees up, be sure to shift a little more to the tips of the toes as you start to bring the body down. Now go wide with your hands off your yoga mat, maybe tenting up on the fingerprints. And then inhale, curl the chest away from the floor. Version of Cobra, emphasizing chest opening. And then exhale as you feel your body return back down to the mat. Press into your anchor points, your pubic bone, tops of your feet, fingerprints curl up. And exhale, release and relax. Last one, press down, inhale, curl up. And then exhale, release and relax. Slide your hands underneath of your lower chest, upper ribs. Inhale, press up through all fours, table. Exhale, ground into the balls of the feet, float the knees, downward facing dog. And then again, feel free to walk out your knees and your feet, kind of shimmy your hips from left to right. As you feel ready, you can always allow your body to start to sink into that sense of what we often refer to in yoga as active stillness. So we find the pose, the body becomes mostly still, and then we tune into the power in of the breath, the power in the rhythm of the breath. Okay, last inhale and exhale here. Okay, breathe in, take your gaze forward, adjust your feet forward. So stepping or taking a light hop as your feet land fully on the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold the body into the legs. Now, as you breathe in, reversing your swan dive. So bend your knees, sweep your arms, reach them up. Prayer hands come together, and then they come down into your heart space. You're going to breathe in. You're going to let your arms sweep back out, and you're going to reach them up. I'm going to turn to face you. You're going to exhale, let your left hand come down to your left thigh. So you're just going to open up through this right side. You're going to slide your left hand down. You're going to arc your body over. Now feel free to stay here, or this bottom left hand can always sweep up if you like, catching hold of your right wrist. So that's a little stronger in the low back. So you can just pay attention, make sure that's a good variation for you. And then inhale, come up. Exhale, just simply sweep your arms open, out, and down. Breathe in, shrug your shoulders up toward your ears. Create a little bit of tension across the neck, the shoulders, the chest. Then as you exhale, deep sigh, release your shoulders down your back. Breathe in, sweep both arms out, sweep them up. Keep your left arm up as your right hand comes to your right thigh, and then slide that right hand down and arc over into that crescent moon shape. And then you can stay right here. This bottom arm can sweep up and catch hold of that top wrist. Nice full inhale. Full exhale. Inhale as you rise back up to the center. Let your arms float out to the side. Let them come down by your legs. Now, as you're breathing in, shrug your shoulders up toward your ears. You're going to create a little bit of a state of tension. And then as you exhale, you're going to sigh it out, releasing your shoulders down. We're going to do that same position, but we're going to add in the tree shape. So you're going to shift your weight into your right foot and you're going to let your left foot come into tree. So you can stay low, you can come up a little bit higher so the foot's on the calf. You can reach down, pick up the foot, and maybe place the foot at the inner thigh. And first, just finding your hands at the center. So what your hands are doing, pressing in toward one another, the same thing is happening at the inner leg and the foot. Even if the foot is a little lower, there's still this sense of coming together strong at the midline, sort of collecting all your energy in honor of this point of stillness. Now you can stay right here. If the balance feels slightly off, this may even be a better shape to hold, hands at heart. You can also stretch your arms up toward the sky. It's going to open up through the side lungs, the side ribs, up through the underarm. And if you like, your left hand might even come down to your left leg. So depending on how high the foot is, that might determine where that hand lands. Press strong with the foot and the leg, and then maybe tip off, creating that half moon shape. You're leaning over to the left. Leaning tree. Okay, last exhale. Inhale, come back through the center. Exhale, arms float open. Left foot releases down to the floor. All right, so just kind of shake it out or do any kind of movements in your ankles and your feet. Okay, and then we're gonna take that on the second side. So we're shifting into the left foot. It's our balancing foot for tree. So you're gonna bring your right foot up. So ankle, bring it up to the calf, or maybe reach down, catch hold of your right foot and place it above the knee. And then let your hands come together over your heart in prayer. Press your palms strong. The same thing the foot and the leg are doing, pressing strong to that center still point. Stay here as an option or reach your arms up. As the arms reach up, you might feel when the arms go up that curve in the low back. Draw into the body a little more. Stay here and maybe let your right hand come to your right thigh and then maybe lean a bit. As you lean, it becomes really important, this connection here of the foot and the leg. It's a little tricky. Breath in and a last breath out, and then just flow back through the center, and then let your arms come down and your right leg also come down. Okay, I'm going to have you just step out with your left foot. You're going to turn to face the left long side of the mat, and you're going to step your feet so that you're nice and wide across the blanket, spinning your heels in now and spinning your toes out into a nice wide goddess squat. So bend your knees, slide your hands down a bit. So the goddess squat is really nice because it's a real deep earth pose. It's very grounding and stabilizing. We're going to add a little bit of side bending flow into it to work with the lungs and the chest. You can stretch your arms open out to the side. As you inhale, you're going to take your left forearm and lean it out onto your thigh and reach that right arm long, just like we did at the beginning. So the inhale is leaning over. Now, as you exhale, this top right arm is going to swing down in front of your belly, and then it's going to bring you, it's almost like carries you back up. And we're going to do that again, same side. Inhale, forearm down, right arm reaches. Exhale, continue the arm motion and find your way back to the center. One more time to this side. So inhale, left forearm down, right arm reaches. Exhale, circle the arm around and sweep up. Now hold that squat for a second. We're going to bring both arms forward out in front of the chest. You're going to take your right arm and cross it on top. And you can either take eagle hug or you can take eagle arms with the forearms or hands coming around one another. And we're going to stay for just another moment, and we will take a momentary break between the two sides to see if you can take your sitting bones down a bit. Draw your belly button in toward the line of your spine. And so you're opening across the backs of your lungs. So really emphasize drawing those shoulder blades apart. So you're really sending, almost feels like you're sending your breath in between your shoulder blades. Last exhale. Inhale, the arms will unwind. You're going to straighten the knees, open the arms momentarily, turn your 10 toes to face the long side of your mat. Drop your hands down to the crest of your hips. Breathe in, pull the elbow points back, lift up through the heart. You're opening across the region of the lungs. Exhale, we're going to come forward. So as you start to reach out long through the crown of the head, feel a little bit of weight shift in your feet, lightness in the heels. And as your body becomes parallel to the floor, please feel free to lower your hands down to the mat. And then I like my hands to be flat on the floor or the mat versus the blanket. They're just going to bend out the elbows. Make sure your hands are wide enough. And just take a forward fold, just opening through the backs of your legs. Nice deep, full breath in. Full breath out. Okay, breathe in. Find your spine back into that halfway lift position. Little bit of softness in your knees as your hands slide to your hips. Press into your feet and rise up, shoulders over hips. We want to do that on the second side. Then we're going to start to make the journey down to the floor. So spin the heels in, spin the toes out, bend your knees, and take the goddess pose. And you'll let those arms open out to the sides. Nice broad chest, energize through like the inner elbows of your arms. Take a full breath in to begin to let your right forearm come down. Let your left arm sweep by your ear. And as you exhale, this top arm just swings in front of the body and assists you in coming back up. Inhale, right forearm down. Left arm reaches. Exhale, sweep the arm down and rise up through the center. Inhale, last one, forearm down, sweep the arm by the ear, swing it in front of the body, and then rise up. You're going to bring your forearms toward one another. Your left arm is going to come on top. So go to the eagle arms, eagle hug, or eagle arms. And then feel your shoulder blades draw apart. Sink your sitting bones down a bit to feel the power in your legs and your feet. The legs feel like having almost like this connection to like the roots of a tree, the energy of the roots of a tree, like sinking really deep to the earth. And draw your belly button in a bit to your spine so you feel strong and connected to the core. Last inhale, exhale. Inhale, unwinding the arms, let them sweep down out to the side and turn your 10 toes to face the long side of your mat again. Releasing the hands one more time down to the crest of your hips. Take your inhale, draw your elbow points back and lift up through the heart, and then we're coming forward. So as you reach out long through your spine, keep reaching through the crown of the head and let a little extra weight come into the balls of the feet. The tendency is to sink into heels. Lower your hands beneath the shoulders and go maybe a tiny bit wider. Really spread your fingers and bend your elbows and fold in. Chin slightly coming in, and then you're just going to tap into feeling that pulse and rhythm of your breath. Another cycle or two of breath here. Okay, so let your body lift up a little bit so the belly lifts away from that space between the inner legs so that you can start to walk your hands toward that front right foot. As the hands come around, you'll be framing the right foot. You'll spin all 10 toes and just kind of adjust through the feet as needed, and then step the right foot back into downward dog. Find that sense of active stillness here. Lower the knees down to the mat, taking the puppy pose, sometimes referred to as like the melting heart position, the way that we're going to approach it. So we're going to keep the knees about under the hip bones, or even a little wider is fine. You're going to keep the hips over the knees as you start to walk your hands forward. Sometimes I call it the half down dog position. It resembles down dog, but the knees are down. Now you can keep the position a little more active by feeling the heart kind of release to the floor, but your belly draw in. Or you can sink a little bit into that sensation of the heart melting toward the floor, hence the melting heart name, right? So the pelvis will roll kind of forward, the heart will melt a little bit down. And so if that doesn't feel right on your shoulders or your neck, just keep it a little more active. Draw the belly in and keep the pose a little more active versus sinking into the shoulders and the chest. See if you can just have some intention around softening your eyes. Soften around your throat. Okay, last inhale. Now, before, if you're in the melting heart shape, kind of energize the belly into the spine. Give your shoulders a little bit of support. And then just take a couple, almost like inching the hands in, just these real small steps with the hands initially. So that way, support your shoulders a little more and then come up to all fours. And from this position, we're going to swing the legs around to the right or left or cross so that you can sit back. Either way works really well. And then we're going to bring the body down onto the spine. So bring the hips more to the center of the mat. And then you're going to let your body just gracefully come down to the floor. Okay, and so as you land there, you can do a few windshield wipers. Just bend your knees, plant your feet, and then just give a little swaying with the knees from side to side. Your arms like big wings, just stretching out and open. Okay, so do a few more windshield wipers, kind of a combination of windshield wipers and half knee to chest. So when your knees go to the left this next time, just pause there for a moment. You're going to slide your right foot toward your left foot. So it'll just kind of slide in, and eventually you actually lift the right foot off the floor and squeeze your right thigh bone into your ribs, half knee to chest. Then you're going to let the right foot come back out into the windshield wiper just as gracefully as you can. And then pulse your knees to the center, take them over to the right. Okay. So, same thing, just as gracefully as you can. Drag your left foot forward toward your right, float it up into the air, squeeze it in toward your ribs, open through your inner elbows as you're taking that, then swing the leg back down. Let's do it again on each side. So, pulse the knees to the center, take them over to the left, slide your right leg toward your left. Squeeze your right leg in toward your ribs. Slide that right leg back out. Last one. Come through the center. Over to the right. Slide your left foot toward your right. Float the foot up and squeeze the thigh in. And then come back through the center. Point your knees up to the sky. You're going to go one more time to the left. So let the knees go to the left, but this time we're going to stay in either windshield wiper twist, a more mild twist, or we'll slide the right foot toward the left until the knees are stacked right on top of left. And you could even hook both knees and thighs a little closer toward your torso. And we're going to hold here, just this gentle hold, static pose. This time of year is interesting because we want to allow ourselves to sink into nature's rhythms by honoring the dark. So, more rest. We also want to be mindful that when we have longer hours of darkness, that can lead to a little bit of heaviness or even depression. So the lightness that we create through chest opening or through more invigorating movement helps to balance out sort of the cold, dark, heavy feeling that can sometimes accompany this time of year. But now we sink into stillness, just opening through the right side chest. We'll take a few more rounds of breath here. Another 1 to 2 cycles of breath here. So if your knees are closer into the body, you can even come back to the center from here if you wish. Or you can go back through windshield wipers. Just want to start to slowly bring everything back to the center. And so maybe moving a little bit, windshield wiper style, or knees to chest, and a little bit of rocking. Maybe even like a full body stretch. And when you are ready, just knowing that you can take as much time as you'd like. You'll let your knees rebend so that the feet are flat to the floor. Feet are a little wide. We're gonna let the knees start to rock over to the right. So we start in that nice wide windshield wiper twist, and then you can stay here, or your left leg can start to drag toward the right, and your knees can stack. And if you want, you can squeeze your legs in a little closer to your body. We still want the legs to have a relaxed feel to them versus hovering up away from the floor, which is going to really keep you kind of in a more active state. We want the legs to come down. Left arm can stay open. And then we'll just relax and soften the eyes. Take another minute here. Okay. Take your next round or two of breath. We're going to bring the legs slowly back up to the center, maybe through that windshield wiper motion, or drawing the knees up so you're in that knees to chest position. And then your hands can come to the knees. You can squeeze the thighs into the ribs and just do a little bit of rocking and rolling on the spine. Full body stretch is also a really great option after that, just to bring everything back into an elongated state. Okay, and let your knees bend so that the feet are flat. So you can keep your knees pointed up to the sky, or you can, if it's okay on your back, go a little wider with your feet and let your knees and your thighs fall together so they're resting upon one another. You're going to let your arms go straight up toward the ceiling. So your fingertips are going to be pointing straight above you. And you're going to take your right arm and cross it over your left. So we're going to eagle hug this time. You're going to just keep crossing those arms until you're giving yourself a big hug. Just creating a little bit of space between the shoulder blades. So energetically, when we wind the arms around the heart and then let the knees, thighs fall together, almost like we're recollecting energy at the center of the body, redirecting the focus inward. So we might find ourselves very busy at this time of year as we maybe are preparing for various holidays. And so this time of year, we can take time to honor the stillness, take time for self care, redirect the energy inward. Okay, so let your hands start to release from the backs of your shoulders and just feel nice and slow. Let them come back up and then extend upward through The arms, fingertips stretching nice and high. Left arm crossing on top of right. And then we're going to keep crossing, keep crossing, keep crossing. And then just a nice gentle hug. Have a breath deep in around both the belly button and then that lower belly space. Okay, and then start to slowly release the hands from the shoulders. Let your arms just reach up just one more time. Then as you're exhaling, let your arms just come down at your sides, turning your palms to face upward toward the sky. Moving your legs in any way that you'd like to move the legs before coming into the final resting pose of Shavasana. As you find your way into Shavasana, feel the earth beneath the body. By taking time to notice nature's cycles and to have more intention around syncing up with the rhythms of nature, it's really a way to honor the earth. So we come into the Shavasana and allow ourselves to really just sink into the stillness of winter. Allowing your body to remain still. Just breathe a bit deeper. And as you're ready, stretch out just a bit through your fingers and your toes, your hands and your feet. Allow your knees one at a time to bend so that your feet come flat to the floor. And then rolling your body over to the right or to the left side. And pressing your hands down, just gradually rising upward to your seat. Allow your hands to come to your heart in prayer. The light within me sees and bows to that same light that exists within you. Namaste.